Wait, so Donald Trump is mad that Walmart is raising their prices of groceries because of the tariffs? I thought China paid the tariffs. And he wants them to eat the tariffs and absorb the cost, and he's mad that they're not going to do that. It's almost like he could do something about that. It's almost like he could propose a federal ban, dare I say even an executive order, on price gouging of grocery stores in America. So that way they're absorbing some of the cost and Americans don't have to pay out their ass for groceries. It's almost like he has the power to do that. Oh, but wait, didn't Kamala Harris run on that? Wasn't this part of her campaign thing? Was it her whole thing, like, trying to build up the middle class and reduce the cost of living in general, like food, housing, medicine, etc.? Like, she actually had a plan for it instead of just saying the word groceries. Oh, but what's that? She didn't support the idea of putting tariffs on, like, every single country? And now we're in an even more mess than we were to begin with? Now everything's even more expensive than it already was? It's almost like Trump could, like, not do the tariffs anymore and then put a federal ban on price gouging. It's almost like this was a really bad idea.
Donald Trump is now blaming Walmart for rising prices in response to the tariffs, right? And he's saying that they should just eat the cost of the tariffs and not raise prices on customers. And so this tweet from Trump, it seems to reveal what many have suspected, that Trump doesn't really understand how tariffs are supposed to work. Because if prices don't rise in response to the tariffs, then they don't actually deliver any protection. The tariffs, they only work because the prices go up. The tariffs are supposed to make Chinese goods more expensive than American goods. That's the whole point. If Walmart just eats the prices on the tariffs, then there's no incentive for consumers to choose the American-made version of products. And that's even if they exist, because they're at a baseline more expensive. Trump's policy is working exactly how it's intended to, and apparently he doesn't like it. You also had Trump claiming that the countries pay the tariffs, not consumers, which obviously, judging by Walmart raising their prices, isn't true. And then on a more zoomed out level, Trump also said that the tariffs are there to replace the income tax and make us all rich, but that they're also there to increase manufacturing. But you have experts saying it really can't be both, at least at the same time. If you import less goods because you're producing more domestically, the less tax revenue you're getting and the less rich you're becoming, right? And all of this is why we're seeing so many experts saying that this is kind of basic Econ 101 shit. Follow to stay in the loop.
Have y'all seen the trend where people are posting their past grocery orders from a couple years ago and comparing it till now and looking at the inflation rate? This shit is crazy. Read this shit. My husband and I were talking last night about how a 12-pack of drinks is now $9 and how in 2020 I used to buy them 4 for $10. I decided to go back into my Walmart app and see what I was paying for a random grocery order. In January of 2020, I paid $70.20 for 30 items. I added all of them into the cart again and repurchased them today. Today, those 30 items were $165.42. That is a $95.22 price increase in 4 years' time. That's a 135.6% inflation percentage. We can't go on living like this. I can't be the only one who feels this way. You know what? No, you're not the only one. Matter of fact, I ordered some shit from Walmart the other day and spent $100. Let me show you what I got. Now, I probably should have laid everything out so y'all could see it, but as you can see, it's really not that much. All that shit cost me $113 at Walmart, of all places.
Even though many tariffs have been paused, and even with the U.S. slashing the tariffs on China, the 10% baseline tariff on most imports into the United States is still significant, and everyday Americans could soon be feeling its effects. This week, the retail giant Walmart said that it was, quote, not immune from tariffs. And as a result, America's largest retailer will start rolling out price hikes on some of its products, including bananas, avocados, and coffee products from Latin America.
It made up over $169 billion in profit. 10% hike. They could definitely eat that. And like they said, 75% of their stuff is American. You're an American. This is the type of bullshit we need to pay attention to. This is why Cheeto Jesus Trump has got some a point here.
Prices throughout the chain. Walmart made billions of dollars last year, far more than expected. Between Walmart and China, they should, as is said, eat the tariffs and not charge valued customers anything. I'll be watching, and so will your customers.
Walmart reportedly announces price increases. God damn it. God damn it! All right, let's get into Rap House TV's full story. I'm not gonna lie though, they be having the news pretty on point on Twitter. Give me a second. This is actually Instagram. Walmart's first quarter profit slipped, and it said it must raise prices due to higher costs from tariffs implemented by President so-and-so. The nation's largest retailers posted strong quarterly sales Thursday and said it expects sales growth of 3.5% to 4.5% in the second quarter. Like many other U.S. companies, however, it did not issue a profit outlook for the quarter because of the chaotic environment with stated U.S. tariff policies changing constantly. The company maintained its full-year guidance issued in February. Many Americans have pulled back on spending as they grow uneasy about the economy. Government data revealed slowing sales growth for retailers on Thursday. Walmart said Thursday that its consumers remain cautious and selective. So-and-so's tariffs on China and other countries threaten the low-price model that is at the core of Walmart's success. So-and-so's threatened 145% import taxes on Chinese goods were reduced to 30% in a deal announced Monday, with some of the higher tariffs on pause for 90 days, such as like electronics and shit. They're trying to basically make it to where they're not tariffable. And I'm like, dude, you already started this shit. How the fuck are you gonna fucking pick what's not tariffable? Are you fucking kidding me? Anyways, retailers and importers had largely stopped shipping shoes, clothes, toys, and other items with the duties so high, but many will now resume importing from China in the narrow window, hoping to avoid sparse shelves this fall. Yet many retailers say they must raise prices to basically account for the tariff costs. And they are also bracing for higher shipping costs fueled by a surge of companies scrambling to get their goods on ships to the U.S. Walmart has built in hedges against some tariff threats. 2/3 of Walmart's merchandise is sourced in the U.S., with groceries driving much of that. Groceries account for roughly 60% of Walmart's U.S. business. The more you know, guys, the more you know.
Who's ready for another grocery haul? So again, all of these are from Kroger in Savannah. That is just for you all to have context for prices. If it helps you sleep at night, I don't really care. I will be going over everything on my receipt today. I'm gonna try to go from most expensive to least expensive. I got cookie dough because I've been craving it. I have not bought cookie dough over 6 months. This is a splurge. This is a personal splurge for me. So it's $6.99. This is the most expensive thing I bought this whole trip. The second most expensive was my bacon. It is the Simple Truth brand. Is this the Kroger brand? I really don't know. I really don't ever care what brand of bacon I get. I only get the thick cut because I like how it cooks better. So the bacon was $4.99, but I scanned my Kroger card, so it was 50 cents off. So $4.50. And then the infamous expensive eggs. Are these like a delicacy now? These are $3.99. $4 eggs, everybody. There's nothing crazy about them, nothing special. I am gonna put these straight in the fridge though, because they are sweating. I wish I had chickens that laid eggs because you can keep them on the counter before cleaning them off, but I'm in a dorm, I can't have chickens. After that, I got some pizza crust because I have some leftover tomato sauce, marinara. I don't really know which one I have. One of them. And then I have a big old block of cheese. So one of these nights I'm gonna have some pizza. This was $3.29, but it had a 30% off like coupon. So it was basically like, what is that? Hold on, $2.99. Just walked a whole lot, so excuse me, my brain isn't working. Then I got some asparagus. It said it was $2.11, but the savings says $1.59. So I guess, what was this, like $1? Sick, bro. Sick. And then last but not least, I got 2 little rolls of bread. Okay? If anybody goes in my comments saying, this is not enough food to sustain a whole family for a week. Do I look like a whole family? No. It's just me. I still have food in the fridge from last time I went to the grocery store. I have leftovers from the last time I went out to eat. I have pasta up there in my cabinets, okay? Obviously, if you've got 5 kids, this isn't gonna sustain anybody. So, you can miss me with that. Just so you know, like, not everything, it's like that whataboutism. Well, what about me? It's like the bean soup theory. Well, what if I don't like beans in my soup? Don't put beans in your soup. Well, this isn't enough to sustain a family of 17. Well, yeah, obviously. If I had a family of 17, I'd be buying for 17. Anyways. Not everything is about you. I'm just saying, these aren't bad prices. I spent $23.08 at the grocery store. I saved $2.39 because I scanned my Kroger card. Sue me. That being said, I love you, Jesus loves you, and I hope you have the best day. Again, don't stress yourself out about this, okay? Everything's gonna be okay. It's all gonna work itself out. Find peace in the Lord. He will give you peace that surpasses all understanding. Love ya.
Question of the day. How do you feel about Walmart jumping up their prices because of the tariffs? I have zero issue with imported goods being tariffed and prices being raised on imported goods. Actually, thank you guys for raising the prices on those because I don't want to buy that bullshit crap anymore that's going to break in 3 or 4 months. So thank you for raising prices on that so I know what not to buy. Then, second off, why is Walmart still continuing to double their prices on their domestic made goods, like their food and beef and dairy, because those are all made here in the United States. It's domestically produced. So why are you raising prices on that? I also hope that tariffs start making people want to buy from farmers markets, butchers, local grocery stores that are owned by small business owners instead of having to pay these outrageous tariff prices.
So the tariffs are hitting because I was at the grocery store yesterday and saw that paper towels are now $25. Seriously, has anyone else developed the coping mechanism of just commenting about how tariffs are impacting prices loudly in the hopes of being overheard by maggots who will feel shame, or is that just me? Anyway, yeah, yesterday I was in the paper products aisle discussing the impact of tariffs on paper products with my husband, genuinely trying to figure out like which ones would be affordable. We were looking to see what was produced domestically. It turns out a lot more paper products than even we realized, as people who are pretty plugged into all this stuff are produced in Canada. Makes sense. They've got the forests and everything for like sustainable logging. But yeah, all the paper products, they're produced like in North America, but not on this side of the north-south border. They're from Canada. And so the multi-pack of paper towels are like $25, or if you want to go for like the cheapo ones that are like maybe less ply, less money spent on like marketing, all of that, $16. Or you could get a single roll of the generic for like $6 or $7 before taxes. Yeah. Remember when the multi-pack of generic used to cost like $6? I do. It wasn't that long ago. I knew these prices were coming, but I still wasn't emotionally prepared to pay for 4 packs of paper towels what used to be the cost of stocking up on groceries and not even being that budget conscious for like 2 weeks for my household. We went from buying like smoked salmon and cheese along with the food we needed to survive for 2 weeks to you could get 4 packs of paper towels for that money. Trump.
I just found out which groceries Walmart is raising prices on. It's happening at any moment. Make sure to like this video and subscribe for money-saving tips every day. Walmart says tariffs on Colombia, Peru, and Costa Rica could result in higher prices for coffee, avocados, and bananas. If you love coffee, stock up and buy in bulk. Ground coffee can last a year in the freezer. Whole beans, 2 years. Instant coffee, up to 20 years. Taste it. Avocados, before they go soft, stick them in the fridge. They can last 7 to 10 days longer. And for bananas, when they get yellow, put them into the fridge to slow down the ripening. But buy these before the prices go up. Look, Walmart says these price hikes can start in just days and into next month. And so far, it's just Walmart announcing this officially that they're raising the prices on these items. But you know the other big ones are next.
Strawberries. No. You did it wrong.
I don't want to throw them in because what if they like...
Give me this.
Oh my god. This one looks nice. Can we make burgers?
Turkey burger. Red. Pasta la vista.
Do you want a oboe or roti?
Tofu.
Sponsor them.
Hell yeah.
Hell. What about spinach?
Yeah.
You like mushrooms?
I love mushrooms.
Okay.
Whoa. Gnarly.
Looks like something else I know. That was a joke.
Mine does not look like that.
Enjoy.
That was a magic trick.
It looks a little deformed, but I think the more deformed, the better it tastes.
Bong, bong,
We good?
bong.
We good?
I need more fiber.
Putting into sports mode. All done. Everyone's favorite game. How much was it?
Oh, we're guessing or they guess?
No, they guess.
Okay, let us know in the comments how much you think it was.
Okay.
Bye.
You know that one time I was in a musical when I was in the 5th grade called Dinosaur Musical, where I played a Jewish Triceratops named Swiftly Levine, and we would sing songs about pasta, and it was like bucatini and cannellini and farfellini cannoli ciccioni, and it was about how dinosaurs discovered pasta.
The cost of living in this country is currently, it's not going to be, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough. I want you to imagine somebody that makes $75,000 a year. That's a pretty high up wage in terms of like top earners in this country, $75,000 a year. And we're going to go through some things here. This is a person with no debt outside of a car. And please don't hit me with the, you can go buy a car for, shut up, you can't, shut up, stop saying ridiculous things. An entry-level decent car is $30,000. So this person who puts $200 a month into insurance and they pay 5% into their 401k because shut up, people should be able to put money into their retirement. Because if you're not doing it now, you're never going to get to start doing it later. So after those two things come out of their paycheck and their taxes are paid, they bring home $53,850 a year from a $75,000 paycheck. Average rent in my state for a one-bedroom apartment, because an adult should be able to live by themselves, $1,700. That car payment at 6% for an entry-level, very reasonable sedan, nothing fancy, the car payment's $579 a month. Car insurance, $240 or so a month for a lot of vehicles in this day and age. You're a young person, you've got a nice job, but the insurance companies still want to screw you over. Food. You only cook at home. You never, ever go out. You only cook at home and you only eat decent quality food because a human being should be allowed to eat decent quality food. You pay $879 a month for that. You spend $250 a month in gas. You wear and tear on your car $100 a month. $80 for your phone, $80 for your internet, $175 a month for your electricity, $70 for your water, $20 for your cash. You make $75,000 a year, and outside of a car payment, you have zero debt. Do you know how much money you have left over annually at a $75,000 wage? You do nothing. You don't own a Netflix. You don't go out on a date. You don't pay to go to a park. You don't go watch a movie. You do nothing. If you can't find it on the internet for free, you don't get to do it. If you can't cook it at home for your $800, you don't get to do it. You have $3,700 left over annually. That's like $320 a month. And there's going to be, well, that's $300. Shut up. Shut your stupid, contrarian, edgelord mouth. That's not a doctor bill, because God knows just because we have insurance doesn't mean that we don't still pay far out the ass when we go to the doctors. People like to be entertained. They want to date. They want to... There's those of you out there that will tell somebody living like this on $75,000 a year before taxes that they are not doing what they're supposed to do, that they should get a second job, that they should get a side hustle, that they should get a better job. And the fact that you would look at somebody with no debt other than a car and say something like this to them means objectively you're a moron and you live in a fantasy world. This is unsustainable.
The trade war isn't over. It's just been rebranded, and you're still paying for it. You might have seen the coverage. Trump reduced tariffs on China, and suddenly people are acting like the crisis has passed. Markets are up. Commentators are sighing in relief. It's like they want to believe we're back to normal, but we're not even close. And the truth is a lot uglier than the headlines let on. Yes, Trump lowered tariffs on China from 145% to 30%, but 30% is still extreme. And tariffs on the rest of the world are still locked at 10%. That's the highest level in generations. It's the policy equivalent of switching from a sledgehammer to a crowbar. Still destructive, still blunt force, just a different tool. Walmart announced it'll have to raise prices. Why? Because they're paying more for everything they import. Trump's trying to pressure them to absorb the cost that he imposed on them. But here's the choice. Either Walmart raises prices or it cuts jobs. And either way, working families lose. Tariffs are taxes, full stop. and the people hit hardest are the ones who can't absorb it. Lower income Americans spend more of what they earn, and they spend it on goods, not on services. And tariffs hit goods, clothes, household basics, over-the-counter meds. This is a tax on the working class. The less you make, the more it takes from you. Paul Krugman says this tariff policy, even post-adjustment, is 7 to 8 times more damaging than the Smoot-Hawley tariffs, the ones that helped crash the global economy in 1930. This isn't just inflation, it's stagflation, higher prices and slower growth. And it's not a maybe, it's a math problem. Trump can only do this because Congress gave away its power. Emergency trade laws let presidents bypass oversight. One man can now shock the global economy on a whim. That's not leadership, it's a broken system. If you want this to stop, call your representative. Tell them Congress needs to take back control of trade policy. No more tariff by tweet. No more chaos disguised as toughness. We need guardrails. We need accountability, and it starts with demanding it.